Your dog may already know something is off in your body, and they've been trying to say so. There's a behavior your dog might be doing right now. Maybe they've been doing it for weeks. You probably wrote it off. They keep coming back to the same spot on your body, your arm, your stomach, your neck, somewhere specific. They sniff it. They linger. They come back again even after you push them away. And you've thought, they're just being weird, dog thing. But there are real people, not in a movie, not in a documentary, who brushed off that exact behavior for months and then got a diagnosis. And when they thought back to what their dog had been doing in the weeks before, it all lined up. This isn't about trained detection dogs in a laboratory. It's about your dog, the one on your couch right now, and what they might already be trying to say. 1. This isn't a rare gift, it's just their nose. When most people hear dogs can detect cancer, they picture something specific. A working dog, a clinical trial, months of training, a rare, exceptional animal that your dog on the couch has nothing in common with, which makes it feel distant, impressive, but not about you. Here's what actually shifts that. Over the past 2 decades, dozens of peer-reviewed studies across multiple countries have documented dogs detecting cancer through breath samples, urine, and sweat, with accuracy levels that surprised even the researchers running the trials. Lung cancer, breast cancer, colorectal, prostate, different studies, different continents. Regular dogs, no special breeding, no exceptional background. Because detecting disease through smell isn't a trick layered on top of normal dog behavior. It's just their nose doing what it already does. Dogs can pick up on individual odor compounds buried inside a mixture of thousands of other molecules. When the body is dealing with disease, the chemistry of breath, skin, and sweat changes, subtly, in ways no human could ever register. But the dog sitting next to you on the couch, they're reading those shifts constantly. They've always been reading them. The only question is whether they try to tell you something when they do, and whether you notice. 2. What they're actually smelling. When cells become cancerous, their metabolism changes. That change produces specific chemical byproducts, released through breath and skin at concentrations so low that early-stage detection is genuinely difficult, even for medical equipment. A dog's nose works on a completely different scale. Research into how dogs process scent has found they can detect odor at concentrations far below what any current instrument reliably measures in routine settings. Parts per trillion in some estimates, the equivalent of a single drop dissolved into 20 Olympic swimming pools. A widely cited 2006 study, published in Integrative Cancer Therapies, one of the earlier controlled trials on this, had trained dogs identifying lung and breast cancer from breath samples with accuracy between 88 and 97%. That study has been built on by others since. The core finding, that dogs can reliably distinguish cancer-related chemical signatures from healthy ones, has held up. Your dog is not doing something magical. They're doing something biological. Something they were built to do. Something they cannot stop doing even if you wanted them to. When your body's chemistry shifts, before you feel anything, before any symptom exists, they notice. The question is what they do when they do. 3. What trying to tell you actually looks like. This is the part that matters most for anyone sitting at home with a dog right now. Trained detection dogs have a defined alert, a sit, a paw tap, a clear signal they've been taught to give when they find something. Your dog has none of that. When they pick up on something, they don't have a clean way to communicate it. What they have is behavior. And across owner accounts reviewed alongside later diagnoses, the same pattern keeps showing up, returning to one spot on the body. Not a general sniff session, coming back to the same location. Through clothing. Over days, in a way that starts to feel less like curiosity and more like something they can't let go of. Going unusually still near one part of you. A normally restless dog, suddenly quiet and focused, parked close to your leg or your side. A kind of closeness that doesn't feel like normal affection. Not trying to be pet, not being playful, just near one specific spot, in a way that sits differently than their usual behavior. Eye contact that owners describe as intent, in a way they hadn't seen before. None of these things on their own mean anything, but the detail that shows up again and again in accounts from people who later connected their dog to an early diagnosis is this. The dog was specific. Not generally loving, not randomly clingy, locked onto one location, returning to it, like they'd found something and couldn't quite figure out what to do with it. That's the difference worth paying attention to. And hey, if this is making you look at your dog's behavior a little differently, hit like and subscribe. This channel is for people who actually want to understand what's happening on the other side of the leash. 4. When people actually listened. Here's something most people don't know. There are case reports in veterinary and medical literature, submitted by owners, reviewed by practitioners, where the dog's persistent focus on a specific part of the owner's body was the direct reason the owner sought a medical evaluation. Not a scheduled screening, not a symptom. The dog. And in a number of those cases, what was found was early stage, early enough to matter. Now, this has to be said clearly. Your dog sniffing your leg is not a cancer test. Dogs investigate everything. Dogs are strange. Dogs will stare at the corner of the ceiling for 10 minutes for no discernible reason. What makes the difference, what practitioners and researchers consistently point to, is 3 things together. The behavior is new. It wasn't happening before. It's focused on one place, not a general roaming investigation. And it keeps coming back, even when you redirect them or move away. Not one of those. All 3. That combination isn't a diagnosis, but it's the kind of thing worth mentioning to a doctor. 5. The animal who already knows your body. Here's what's hard to sit with. Your dog has been building a picture of your biology since the day you brought them home. Not intentionally, not with any awareness of what they're doing, just because you are their entire world. The scent that fills the room, the body they sleep next to every night, your smell at rest, your smell when you're stressed, the difference between you well and you run down. They know all of it. Not in a way they can reason about, but in the way a nose immersed in one person for years just knows that person. Which means when something in that familiar chemistry shifts, they catch it before you do, before any test, before you feel the first thing. Think about what that actually is. The creature who has been breathing your air and sleeping at your feet for years may notice patterns in your body that no one else is close enough to notice. And sometimes, when something changes, they try to say so, with the only language they have. Their nose against your skin. The refusal to move away from one spot. The eyes looking up at you with something you can't quite name. We call it weird dog behavior. Maybe sometimes it's more than that. So look at your dog. Not as a pet, not as a companion, as what they actually are. An animal that has lived so close to you for so long that the way your body smells is something they know like a room they've memorized. They don't have a word for what they sometimes find. They just know something is different than it was. And they go back, again and again. You don't have to turn every strange sniff into a medical appointment. But the next time your dog keeps returning to the same place, stays there longer than makes sense, looks up at you with that quiet, fixed attention that feels different from the usual, don't just push them away. Pay attention, because in their own way, they already are.